pitch deck is, I mean, of course, one of the most important outcomes or even the outputs of such a program is, you have to ask yourself, I spent, say, whatever, 8 sessions now, understanding concepts, getting uh, exposed to some new thinkings in life and stuff like that. But where is this all leading to, and what should I be doing with it? I think the one last missing block for any entrepreneurship uh, discussion worth its salt is that, do you need to pitch? Given this, fundamentally, a lot of people have come and said that, did Steve Jobs pitch for his business, and was Bill Gates involved in pitching for his business? And so we're talking of something that large businesses, we don't know. I mean, we definitely know that there's a Google story on how they pitched to Sequoia and Kleiner Perkins. Steve Jobs also did some amount of hustling with a few early stage investors like Mike Maracula and stuff like that. Bill Gates famously went and hustled IBM even when the product is not ready on the DOS that they were planning to build. So pitching is something that I think is is a survival skill in nowadays. I mean, I want to sound a bit philosophical also out over here, because pitch decks are now not only limited to just startups and investment pitches. You end up pitching, or you want to call it hustling, all along, everywhere. Today you want to get into a sports committee in your institution. You want to go and pitch them why you are the best candidate, what is it that you want to do. Okay, maybe tomorrow you want to get into a college council of something, you need to go and pitch. Even if for a job today, people have been asking for pitches about why do you think we should hire you. So pitching is becoming more like a survival skill. I think the better and the faster you learn about it, it's good for all of you. Doesn't necessarily mean that you will end up as an entrepreneur in front of a investor who are doing the pitches. But that is, of course, the that the best uh, reason for a pitch is to raise for money, right? And the uh, your TV shows like Shark Tank has proved it, right? I mean, you have this whatever 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes of your life to really make it or break it over there. So every pitching is there everywhere. Even if you go for an Indian Idol thing, I think what you do in the first phase is also pitch about yourself. How what can you sing? What can you do? Even if you want to go for a dance competition, all this pitching keeps on happening. So pitching is very important now going forward. So it's a life skills, as I said it. Okay. So we are going to talk about today specifically about the pitch. When you pitch to someone who is whose intention is probably to give you money, if he or she is convinced that worth it, and your objective is also to get money from the person that you're pitching. Okay, so let us keep the context very tight in here. This is not like globally. You are not here to pitch for a business award competition, or you're not wanting to pitch for some recognition or something like that, right? And the person to whom you are pitching to is not interested in your story, or wow, what you did nice and how great impact. He or she is interested is, if I put money onto you, will I make money out of it, right? And that's as plain simple transactional that you should keep your thinking about. Bad thing about the pitching is here, you don't have a lifetime. You can't take 3 hours to pitch, right? This is probably, that is why sometimes it's called as elevator pitches or fast pitches or insta pitches. People have invented different names for this. The whole idea here is that you have a very limited amount of time and lesser amount of attention span. Today, in today's world, attention span is probably the most expensive commodity that you can get from any investor. Of course, after the money that investor is going to put in. Okay, so you have very limited time. The objective has to be very clear. It is about paisa, 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 but not paisa, paisa, paisa. It's like not pitching to your dad and making him emotional about why he should give you more pocket money. Here, this is about clearly saying that, look, I have this great deal that is going on, and I believe that if you at the right moment you're going to participate in this great deal, We are all going to laugh all our way to the bank. You're going to make money, I'm going to make money. Okay, so this is what it is about. Broadly consists about this 12 points, and I'm not going to say are all 12 points needed for your yes, no, but these are broadly the 12 elements, let me call it, as the pitch deck that will work for you. Again, let me put a rider saying that that does not mean does not mean that if you have all the 12 elements you're going to get money. Okay, getting that the slip between the cup and the lip, as they say, or the time between the time for somebody to sign that check, a lot of things can happen and a lot of things can go wrong. I'm going to spend some 5 minutes at the end to tell you why some pitches didn't never make money out of it. Okay, so let's go point by point and see what constitutes the best elements of a pitch. Best thing is this is available as a template to you. Okay, so you don't need to go all around the world searching for a template. Just stick to this plain simple template that we have given you. Okay, try and put up as much data as you can based on what I'm going to tell you, what the data should make sense about, and then try to do some test pitches here and there, and then probably sharpen up the skills of the pitching, and then actually go out and do the pitching. Okay, so these are some of the statutory things that you have to do. Don't just because you have a template, don't just go and start pitching. You need to do practice pitches first. You need to do in front of a mirror first, just to see that you're getting the flow right. You need to also work on your timing. You need to probably do it in front of a few friends and mentors and stuff like that. See how is it coming along as a pitch. Go about, improve it, and then go out. Right, then go. It's a performance where you are probably 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know what time the investor will give you, but definitely not 30 minutes. So you have this 3-5 minutes that you need to really make an impact on. Okay, having said this, let's start quickly. Okay, first thing, very simple. What's the name of your startup? Does the startup have a tagline? Does the tagline convey anything that really amplifies the name of the startup? Usually people have a lot of confusion. Should I name the company or should I name the brand? My personal preference is, instead of pitching for Info Edge Private Limited, sounds very long and boring. Naukri.com sounds very amazing. It actually tells you that what is the business that you are going to probably declare. Taglines are important, but not necessarily. Taglines, don't try to be funny, don't try to be too clever by half. Okay, and add some taglines just because you want to make a point. Taglines can be very annoying if it does not really amplify the brand that you're talking about. Okay, and just stick to the basic simple part of it. If there is a logo, put a logo. People want to see that you have spent some time thinking about your startup. It's not something that you made up last night before you went to bed. So be very honest. This first page itself will convey a lot of sincerity that you have put into your startup. Okay, so name has to be good, logo has to be kind of very nice, uh, good feel logo about it. Taglines, be very clear what your tagline story is all about. Right, any questions do you want to ask about what is a tagline and stuff like that? Any questions, quick, because this big thing of the mind, because brand, we talked about brand and stuff like that. Do you want to kind of quickly check any questions here? If no questions, then I'll carry on. So because I can't toggle Vinayak, if there's a question, I think you'll have to read it out to me. Okay, let me go back to the slide. Okay, yeah, this is where I think most startups fail, because most pitches start with the product and they want to tell about how brilliant the product is, or how great the engineering is, or what technology you used. AI, ML. Nowadays, I hear a lot about generative AI and stuff like that. So people try to throw some very important words about the product and the technology. People are not interested in that at this moment. People are more interested in What is your story? What brought you to this point? Why do you think you are the guy to, be here talking about this? Is this something that has come from your personal experience? Is this something how strongly you feel about it, right? Always remember, a story sells. That's the reason why films and, are probably the biggest industries in the world, or why OTT is so gluing, and why people watch so much of YouTube content or visual content nowadays, because all these contents need to have a story. Okay, so find out a great story. Okay, could be anything. Could start with, from your whatever personal experience of dealing with this, or some, personal stuff that you experienced in a family. Could be traumatic. Could be funny at some time. Could be interesting at some point of time. Okay, and you need to kind of look at your story. And so the logo should appear on all slides. Okay, you must have seen the Vadvani uh, slides that we show it to you. We have not put the Vadvani logo on this slide because this is going to be your slide, right? But always think about uh, the logo on every slide that you have. Okay. Of course, then comes the most important question, what I call as the entrepreneur opportunity fit, right? Which is where that I'm an entrepreneur who's keen to solve this issue of, let's say Alzheimer's, patients suffering from Alzheimer's. Or, we talked about an example in which the entrepreneur wants to solve the problem of early learning challenges that parents face for their, school going kids. So whatever it is, so what's the problem? That is, why me, why, and what is the problem? So that's an entrepreneur opportunity fit, right? So I'm not saying that, I love IPL, so I'm going to set up an IPL team. Doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, uh, today actually, if you really look at it, if you are not connected to your business, okay, by heart and soul, people at an early stage find very difficult to kind of connect. If you're a Shah Rukh Khan, already achieved tremendous success, you want to buy an IPL team, it's an investment decision for you. That those pitches are totally different. Okay, those are different. Those are different complex level deal structure as to why Shah Rukh Khan, and why, what does he have to do with cricket? I mean, see, one of the things that Shah Rukh Khan always talks about, that he was a great sports player when he was in his institute in Delhi, and he was a Ranji probable. I think that is what he claims to be. Nobody can validate that, but he claims that he was good in sports. He also played hockey. So if you see this Chak De India movie, Shah Rukh Khan, you can actually feel Shah Rukh Khan being part of that game somewhere in his past life or something like that. So that comes across as a very important. So here it's very important. Okay, say that there are, I mean, there is nothing like mention top three problems being addressed. Say that this is this big problem that's a worth solving that we are talking about, and this is how I validated it. It has happened to people like me, and there are millions of people like me who are going through this problem. So I felt that, this is a problem worth solving. Okay, then comes the next fit, which is called as the customer problem fit, right? So your entrepreneur opportunity is nothing but a problem flipped other way around. So then you have a problem and a customer fit, right? So you need to find out, for this kind of a problem, who's the customer who's going to pay for it, right? In the case of an Alzheimer's case, the one that I talk about, it will never be the patient. Okay, it will probably be the it could be a, sorry, it cannot be a parent, and there are no situations where, parents need to deal with Alzheimer's and kids, but mostly it is need to be children, or offsprings, who are concerned about, Alzheimer's and how it is going to affect their parent. They just want to make sure that they want to get cricket coaching, for that matter. The child will never pay for the coaching. It's the parent always who will pay for it, right? So you have to identify clearly who's the user and who's the customer, or who's the consumer and who's the customer. As I say, like when you go to an MBA college, you are the consumer. The customer is actually your parent. So the MBA college targets both of you. It makes you come to them by enticing you with their marketing strategy of how great careers are built using management education, and then they convince your parents, saying that, look, if you want your child's future to be secure, this is what. So basically, you'll have to figure out who will use the product and who will pay for it. Some cases it is same, in some cases it is different. Okay, so very clear, very simple. This is the problem, and this is the customer who's going to pay for it. Then now comes your favorite part, which is where what you are passionate about. You want to talk so much about it that, say that this is the solution I have figured out. I have used generative AI. I don't know what that means. I have used AI ML. I still don't know what it means. Whatever technology you used, and I've done this kind of a explainer. I have done this wireframe diagram. And this is what the proposed solution looks like. So this has to be more visual. This particular slide has to tell the investor that, look, I'm not merely here because I have discovered a problem and I want you to help me, give you some money to solve the problem. No, sir. I have found out what is the problem. I have also found out what is the solution. And this is how the solution is going to look like. Okay. Could be a wireframe diagram, could be a demo, could be an explainer video, could be anything that you have created, probably an MVP, and that you have already made. Maybe a crude looking format, doesn't matter. Like I always said, if you want to make a cake shop, don't end up making a cake. Make a pastry at least. The pastry represents what you can do with the cake, right? This for me is the most important slide that you anybody can talk. And I personally, at a personal level, okay, nothing to do with anything, but I as Raj, but I'm going to kind of look at this slide very, very carefully, because you can't just put random names and say these are my co-founders and blah 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 blah, and stuff like that. You need to kind of say what who are the set of people that you are working with. Okay, what is your relationship? How did you get to know them? This spends a lot of, what is the educational background? Doesn't mean they all have to be from IITs or IIMs or something. IIT IIM tag definitely helps. I'm not going to deny that, but the fact remains that that's not the only tag that people are interested in. I would rather work with someone that was been my college. Like for example, in the case of Sachin Bansal, Vinny Bansal, very clearly good friends. IIT Delhi, they were together. Amazon India, they were together. You could find out that they kind of almost shared the same vision, the same passion, the same values. Uh, Ideal to become co-founders, right? Sergey Brin, Larry Page, co-students, PhD students, uh, you know, uh, and worked hard, both equally brilliant part of it. Makes sense that they were co-founders. Right? So team is going to be very, very clear. Just don't put names of mentors. I've seen my photo appear as mentor advisor on slides where I don't even know who the team is. This apparently we've gone, ahead, went into LinkedIn, found out some people and just kind of put their stuff over there. Mentors, advisors, you need to be very careful, whom you are bringing in as mentors and advisors. They may have a good history, they may not have a good history. That is going to make or break, your pitch at this moment. But a very, very important thing. Okay. Important is why now? Why now do you want to kind of start up? Is the time right? Are people kind of ready for this kind of a solution? Are the economic conditions, are the, what I should say, the policies favoring this? For example, now if you want to get into a cryptocurrency, and again, my one of my favorite examples, which Vinayak keeps on asking, is if you want to get into cryptocurrency, I would say maybe the time for cryptocurrency was 5 years back. Okay, 5 years back probably sounded great, sounded revolutionary. But a lot of water has flown under the bridge in the last 5 years. I mean, we have large scandals, right? Not that not that uh, good feeling about cryptocurrency that you have. You have a Facebook that came up with LIBOR that failed. Then you had this Sam Newman or some guy who kind of created the biggest Ponzi scheme on cryptocurrencies, stuff like that. People are not so sure. So, maybe the time has passed away for cryptocurrency. Generative AI or anything to do something like, Chat GPT. I don't know. People are every third person today I am talking to talks about Chat GPT without even knowing what Chat GPT is. But I think I'm telling you, uh, it's the cocktail dinner conversation now. Usually, all end up with how what Chat GPT is going to do and what it is going to do. Most of them, that is always fads. So you need to learn to separate out the fads from the actual trends. Okay, fads are something that people, just hype it up for a certain amount of time and stuff like that. But trends are real. Trends can be measured. Trends are fairly indicative of what is happening into the future, right? For example, in healthcare, non-invasive procedures are the trends. I mean, nobody can deny that practically every branch of medicine today is going to become non-invasive, right? So if you're going to look at something which is really trending, then you have a very uh, high chance that the investor is going to look at you very favorably about. Okay. Times and Som, I think we have all discussed this till the cows come home. Very important that you give them the bigger picture, the 30,000 feet view of what is your total addressable market, and then what is the SAM, what is it that you can actually reach out to be. But most importantly, the SOM or the obtainable market is very important, because you want to be starting off in a town or a city, right? And you may have global ambitions, okay, and your customers might be across the globe, but at the end of the day, you are, obtainable market is the one that you're going to really make or break your startup. What is obtainable market? For example, if I'm going to start a cake shop in one part of Bangalore, then probably in the initial success areas, I need to become successful in that particular, probably a 2 kilometer radius market. So for me, the first focus should become strong, like become that big daddy in the obtainable market, then move to the addressable market, and then probably entire market that we are talking about over there. Okay, so time Samsung people, I mean, put some $1 billion figures out over here. Believe me, as an investor, we all take it not with a pinch of salt, but with a handful of salt part of it. But it's nonetheless a very important information that you're sharing. This is something that startups tend to gloss over and say, there is no competition, or oh, I'm so great, I don't believe there is a competition. I mean, don't be naive, don't be, don't even think that uh, startup an investor will believe that there is no competition. In fact, if there is no competition, for me, it simply doesn't mean there is no market, right? I mean, if there is no market, then I don't know what are you doing here and why am I listening to your pitch. So for most me, very important is, yes sir, I have competitors, maybe they are not direct, they are not in my geographic area, or they are not probably in that segment that I've chosen, but yes, I have indirect competitors both in India, globally. It basically tells an investor that you have put in the efforts, you have kind of understood what you have kind of researched your market very well. Okay, so this is very moat. Not all businesses need to have a moat, but having a moat is what I should say is a good thing to have. Why good? Probably a great thing to have. Moat, if you know what moat means, right? So in the old British scheme of things, the nobles used to stay on a castle, okay, and the castle, and they had always this trouble of somebody coming and attacking the castle. So they had built a moat around the castle, which was nothing but like a water subway. Most cases it was also filled with crocodiles. So if you're trying to jump onto the castle and you fall, maybe the crocodile will eat you. So moat gives you some sense of safety, stability, and says, okay, I have built a moat around. Now, what can be a moat? Moat could be anything. Moat could be the fact that you probably have discovered a new algorithm or a new IPR. If that is your moat, fantastic. Nobody can beat you. Nobody can, that's a permanent moat that you have built. Nobody can attack you because you own the intellectual property. Sometimes the moat can be as silly as that, my uncle is the food commissioner of the city, and that is why I'm going to kind of, be successful in the short run. Okay, but uncles don't remain uncles for long, and he may become the city commissioner of something else, stuff like that. So those are temporary modes. For me, the best mode that a startup have, and I tell this to everyone who's just starting up, and especially when you fill that box, if you remember the uh, lean canvas box, in which there's a box called unfair advantage, right? So unfair advantage, the very fact that you are such a small company, you are so agile, you can use guerrilla warfare to attack your competitors over there, right? Small teams are great. No, I don't know if I've given this example here, but Microsoft started in 1975. So in 1994, when Google started, Microsoft should have invented the search engine, but they didn't. A small company like Google in 1994, 93, 94 came up with the search engine. 93, 94, 2003, Facebook was just starting out of its, hostel dorm in Harvard, right? So either Microsoft or Google should have invented Facebook, right? And they did that. They had a product called as Orkut. They had a product called as MySpace. But a small guy, sitting in a dorm uh, in Harvard, defeated two big giants, right? Microsoft, which is already a $1 billion company, and Facebook, which was also $1 billion company, started, right? Same thing cut into 2008 or 9, what's, I don't know, 2012, I think. WhatsApp, right? I mean, these are all big giants by the time Facebook was a huge giant. Microsoft was having its Microsoft Messenger. Google was trying to have its GChat, and Facebook was trying to have its Facebook Messenger. Here comes this small team out of nowhere. 30-35 people come and build a world-class product called WhatsApp, right? So being small, being nimble, being innovative is probably your best moat. You can just go and proudly claim, sir, our moat is that we are small, we are very tightly knit, we are intelligent, and we can move faster. That for me is a big moat. Okay. Go to market, we just discussed it in the last session. Why can we keep it a very, a very, very simple go to market strategy about, what's the target segment, how am I going to reach out to them, how am I going to build some relationship with them, what are the channels that I'm going to use. Very plain simple. Please understand, go to market strategy is actually the money sucker in your business, right? So one of the reasons why an investor gets worried is when you come and say, okay, I'm going to employ Ritik Roshan as my brand ambassador. So if I'm going to put money in your company, I'm saying, if I put money in your company, are you going to use the money for developing your product and stuff like that, or are you going to pay my money to Ritik Roshan to figure in an ad for you? So the go-to-market slide has to be very, very plain, simple, efficient, okay, and not intimidating to the investor. If you come up with an idea and say, I'm going to use Sachin as a brand ambassador, Amitabh Bachchan as a brand ambassador, I'm going to go and advertise on national channels, and I'm going to put money here, if that is going to be a go-to-market strategy, because everybody knows that this is a money burner or money sucker in your business. You need to be very careful, but at the same time, you need to have a strategy, and you can't just expect people to believe that you're going to launch a product and people are going to line up on your door and buy the product from you. No, you need to understand that yes, I'm going to use advertising, I'm going to use social media, I'm going to use door-to-door selling, or I'm going to use whatever telecalling, I'm going to use mass mailing, I'm going to use a one-on-one, I'm going to stand. I mean, I had a startup and they were launching some great health product. The entrepreneur, her two daughters, they were all standing uh, Sunday mornings outside parks. In Bombay we have something called as Nana Nani parks where old people come. So they were developing some health product for senior citizens. They were all wearing their t-shirts, caps, and distributing on the road, on the street, handing out pamphlets. Okay, very simple, very effective. Saying that yes, I'm the person who's doing this, and I'm here right now at your doorstep, distributing this channel to you. Okay, financials. I personally recommend that you take some help from somebody who knows money, or somebody who can help you put this data together about what is going to be a recurring cost. So there is something called as a customer acquisition cost and stuff like that. You need to figure out how much does it cost you in real terms to buy one customer, get one customer's attention, or get one customer's behavior coming into it. So all these are slightly complex in nature. I'm not saying they're rocket science. I'm just saying that if you need help, that is why you put those mentors and advisors on your site. Look at, take their help, find out what is the exact unit price that I'm selling, what are the profits, what are the taxes that I'm going to pay, how much is the real revenue that is going to come back into the system, how much is it going to cost me to make this particular product. All these things are very important in terms of your financial models, right? Milestones, of course, this is what every investor kind of looks at and says, okay, if I give you 1 crore of rupees, what is it that will get me in 1 crore? So you're going to tell that the first 10 lakhs will go in terms of developing the proof of concept, and then the 15 lakhs will probably go into getting validation for it. So you'll have to give some milestones, and those milestones cannot just be like Okay, in terms of the money, it should also say at for this amount of money, what is it that I'm going to achieve? What is it the resources that I need? How much time will it take? Okay, so don't again be very ambitious and say, "Okay, I'm going to spend at 1 crore rupees in 3 months' time." No investor likes his money to be burnt away like this. Give a reasonable plan. Give a probably a plan for 6 months to 18 months. Okay, plan should not be more than 18 months. Less than 6 months sounds very frivolous. Give milestones and say on this date, and tell them very clearly that I don't want that 1 crore day one. The moment I achieve my milestone, please give me the second tranche. At the moment I achieve my second milestone, please give me the third tranche. And this is how you ask money, right? This is a very mature way of asking for money. It tells the investor that I have spent time thinking that how am I going to spend the money? I'm not going to be sitting here and waiting for all the money to be in the bank before I even get out of my seat, right? This is a very, very important step. Okay, anything additional that you have, recommendations from your mentor startups, or if you're being incubated somewhere, if you have some customers who are going to be happy to talk to you, you're going to be have some mentors and faculty from your institutes who are going to be supporting you. This will all come as additional slides. Okay, so very simple 10, 12 slides, nothing more in terms of you know in terms of, don't try to make it over complicated, because the first thing people look at is how many slides, how much time. So there is this 10, 20, 30 rule, okay, that I heard some time back, that I found was uh, very, very, very important, but that doesn't work uh, much. It's 10 slides, 20 minutes, and 30 font size. Okay, so this is it. But in today's world, 20 minutes is also premium. If you get 20 minutes, wonderful. But 10 slides, 20 minutes, that means 2 minutes per slide explaining. That's it. And 30 is the font size. Don't try to be, people become very creative and then they put different fonts and stuff like that. Slide should be just bang on image and a picture explaining that. People don't have time to read through the fine text and read through all those clever things you have put onto this slide. Keep it as simple. Okay, so that finishes, I think, all the things that I wanted to talk about. What time are we on? Okay, we are at 7:48, but we started about 12 minutes late, right? So we can still extend up to 8:15, I think, if not more. Uh, so yes, Sudhanshu, Vinayak, I
All
am
right.
done.
So, guys, maybe it's time for Ask Me Anything. Um, Thank you very much, sir, for presentation about presentations. But you can ask sir anything in the chat. Saurav had to leave us in the middle, but we still have Subrat, we have Ananya, we have uh, Shitija, if I'm taking your name correctly. So you guys
No
can ask
problem.
any question.
Yeah, Kshitija has been there, I think, for most of the sessions.
Yeah. I think a lot of them have been here, sir. Even Saurav was here, and it's good
Yeah,
that he.
yet to leave, I can
So
understand.
guys, if you guys want to speak, we can turn on the, we can invite you as a speaker as well, so you can discuss your questions with Raj. There is an option to
Wow,
invite participants as
thank
well.
you so much. I get to hear voices in the eighth session, if not earlier.
To
Do IPs
IPS.
expire?
IPS.
Yes, Ananya, IPs
So
expire.
Ananya,
Lovely.
Subrat, you guys, if you want, I can invite you as a speaker. Just mention the chat window.
I'm going to just switch off a video for a minute, just what I'm hearing.
Let me know, guys, if you want to come on the video, because I guess it will be better for you to ask. You don't have to turn on your video. You can maybe just use your audio. I understand that it's very anxious
Privacy
to.
issue. So I asked some people, why don't they put on videos during calls? This is privacy issue. I don't want
Yeah,
you peering into our bedrooms. I'm saying, why are you sitting in the bedroom in the first place?
privacy issues. These are the same people who do not read the instruction and just press accept on everything.
So guys, today we don't have any general question. We just have this feedback form link. You simply have to give us the feedback. It won't take more than 10 seconds of yours.
Yeah, but you can ask any questions, all right? So let me
But
have the
initially we're gonna have our AMA. Then you have to click on this link. Since no one was speaking, so I thought of posting this link over here.
But we do have, yeah, you guys should actually fill the feedback. Feedback done by Sudhir, that's great. Ananya, make sure you do it. And also Kshitija. But so let me just ask an open-ended question. Are you guys planning a startup? The ones, so I'm asking the chat right now.
So it's like ask them anything.
Yeah.
So we have got a question from Ananya.
Okay.
So how do you think we can build consumer engagement on a platform without spending big bucks?
Very interesting. How do you build customer engagement in any case, whether you have money or don't, right? So basically in today's world, Ananya, the only thing that works well, and it doesn't matter whether it's from Reliance or whether Ananya Prasad is doing it, what matters is consumer experience. Okay, and experience comes much before the product, even before the product has been tested by the customer. Okay, so it's basically comes across, and in today's world it's very, very difficult, and I spend a lot of time telling people that, look, just don't focus on the product and say my product is so good. The path to reaching that product, which means the information that you gave in, how easy was it for them to, whatever, if you're building an app, how easy was it for them to build an app? You build an app, app works fine. The moment it comes, it crashes. The moment you are not on an app store or Google store, people have this big question mark, ki app valid hai ki nahi. But there is a other way around. You can't be on an app store or a Google store unless you have validated customers and who are number of downloads and stuff like that. So it's a very, 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 very what I should say, sensitive topic. Okay, and wish we could do this as a part of this discussion is the what is called as the product adoption curve. I briefly touched upon it in my last session, in which I say that the first 2.5% of the customers who come to you, okay, 2.5 of the customers, they have actually been waiting for you to launch the product. Okay, these are called as innovators. They are people who are looking for a sushi restaurant even before the first sushi restaurant is started, or they're looking for baseball training even before baseball has come into India, right? So these are people who are keen. They are probably Google searching, they are kind of talking to people, and they're trying to do that. You need to reach out to them. Their experience amplifies your message, and believe me, it amplifies in both directions, right? If you do a good job out of it, they're going to shout at the top of their head, because these are the people who not only consume the product and they will not go home quietly. They will go and make a show out of it. They'll go and tell, yes, I went to Ananya Prasad's whatever website or app, and she's done a fantastic job. She needs all the help. I'm going to send it out to another 100 of my friends. So that first engagement, when you say engagement, comes from experience. You need to be on your toes. You need to be the first person to call up the person. You don't need to send someone to make a call to that person and say, oh, how did you find the express? Get on the phone, said, I am Ananya Prasad, I am the founder, I am the person who's designed this. I'm so happy to have you here on this website or my app and stuff like that, and you can call me up anytime. I want you to get the best experience, and do this. The moment these first, let's call them the first 100 customers who are touched by your things, believe me, Ananya, things can only then start going up. But if these 100 people have a bad experience, you have no chance of ever making it. Okay, no chance of ever making it successful with this particular venture. Then you may probably have to look at something. So get it into your system, dream about it, believe in it, that I am going to give the best possible experience to the customer. Just imagine you opened a cake shop, right? Opened a cake shop, and the first customer walks in. Random guy, not your friend, not your cousin, not your neighbor, not your neighbor's dog. Those are the people who will come, because you called them and stuff like that. They are good. I mean, they're good to kind of give you some kind of a flip. But the first genuine customer who just saw your ad, or who just saw, that you opened up a store, who just was brave enough to step into something that is new, right? And then see how good are you going to do it. That person will amplify the message 100 times. She'll go and say, wow, Ananya is such a great person. She does an excellent job out of it. She's so good at dealing with customers. She has an excellent team. She has got a lovely smile, beautiful face, whatever. I mean, people just, when they find virtues, they find virtues in everything that you do. Okay. And that is how the world is today. And if they find even a small bit of fault, unfortunately, they just even amplify that and say, hey, lousy, don't go there. I don't think the place stinks. The people are bad, blah, blah, blah.
So,
Ask you a very fundamental question. Let me complete. Ask yourself the fundamental question. What's the best product that you have been using? Okay. And we are using so many products, not physical products, maybe an app or a digital or whatever it is. And why are you using it continuously? Because I'm sure, just like WhatsApp, there is a Telegram and there is a Slack and there is a Discord server and stuff like that. But if you're constantly using, for that matter, Telegram, let us assume, what makes you go to Telegram over and over again? You may say, a lot of my friends are on Telegram, so I go, that's the network effect. Because you were there, your friends came and everyone became a network effect. You have to ask yourself, why is it that I went there for the first time and why do I keep on going there? See, UX is just one part of the experience. User experience means, in that UI, user interface, and people write UI/UX, which is a, generic term what they want to use. But look at this screen now, right? The moment you're seeing this screen, this is Airtable, right? Sudhanshu, what is this? This is a platform is Airtable, if I'm not mistaken. How well you can see me, you can see Vinayak, you can see Sudhanshu, you can see chats that are scrolling over here. So this product gives you a great feel that yes, I can come to this platform. I can, the platform works seamlessly well. It gives me great things at the same time over here. That's it.
So one more thing which I would like to mention is often people, they put out ads on Instagram and all, but they forget to put ads on the right place. Like one very effective social media which nobody talks about is Reddit, because what Reddit has is it has special groups for people who are connoisseur of special things. For example, I once found a Reddit page of like you said, baseball in India. It was just about American football, just that. So a friend of mine, I was actually able to build up a successful business selling American football merchandise in India, because he was able to become a important member of that Reddit page, which had like 5,000 people following it. So that's a small market, yes, but for online applications, I feel
But
like Reddit.
some of them are very cultural in nature. Reddit is very US centric. Craigslist, if you see, there is something called a Sulekha.com or something in India, which is supposed to be a ripoff of Craigslist. But it works so badly. That I would never, ever recommend Sulekha.com to anyone. But the counterpart, I mean, the copy on which it is based, Craigslist works like a dream there. So it's sometimes also cultural in nature. But Reddit, yes, Reddit, I mean, especially for the younger generation, is a big. Same thing with Discord servers. I mean, not many people know about Discord servers and how to use them. Like, I don't know. I'm on Discord server, but it takes me a lot of challenge to really do there. But it's a great platform.
It's actually extremely similar to how the Vadwani's platform works. So if you know this, then. Are there any other question, guys? Ananya, you asked good UX UI. Was that a continuation?
I answered that. Yeah, UX UI, right.
Any other question, guys? Because if not, then I'll start asking my questions.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep the conversation live.
All right, sir. So one question I need to ask is, so it's not exactly related to entrepreneurship, but when you're starting out, how do you find it? So you have to find a team member, right? Like it is related to entrepreneurship, but as you mentioned that a lot of times brand names do help us out. But how do you check if while hiring someone if he's a good person or not? Because I remember Airbnb. I guess you told us this that Airbnb spent 6 months hiring their first two employees, or a year hiring their first two employees, just to make sure
First,
that they
sorry,
hire the right.
first person. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
first.
they were. Yeah, so but the original team members, they were quite capable of doing what they were. So they didn't really look at. So you always say no ki hire for attitude, pay for skills. That is what should be
Okay.
the primary motto. That you pay them for the skills that they have, which is very good. But if the person just doesn't have an attitude, just keep him outside your team. Pay him. You may need a great, UI UX developer for that matter, but he may not gel with your team, or you may not have the same value systems. That doesn't mean that you need to bring him inside your team.
Okay.
And I would never hire today. I'm very clear. I would never hire couple of things. I would never hire if I don't know a good reference that the person he or she gives. Second is I would personally get onto the phone, call up the reference, check up what it is. Okay. And then do a one-on-one session part of it. Again, like I said, I would not go on board and just take him as a co-founder on day one. I would say let's work together. Let's keep a whatever 3 months, 6 months kind of a time frame. Let us see how well we are working uh, together, and then of course, if everything goes fine,
Okay.
let's do the marriage. Because once you bring him as a co-founder, then no, if it doesn't work, you and Sudhanshu, you decide not to be co-founders and work together for some time till the project is over and then part ways. That's a very nice thing to do. But if you bring in Sudhanshu and then you guys face some problem and then say, oh yeah, now I can't do anything about it, then the damage is more severe.
Got it. Got it. No, I understand. Like I personally have made a lot of hiring mistakes in the past, whether it has been for other people or for anything which I haven't started myself. So I've been very cautious about it. It's... Any other questions, guys? You can have more questions. Come on, you have a gold mine of knowledge here, and you're not using it. Come on, Kshitija. You've not asked anything. Go ahead. Subrat, what about you?
Shubhra is like, feedback done, so I'm going to kick back and chill out.
Sir, one more thing which I want to ask is, so right now I'm graduating college and I'm at a stage where a lot of people.
Vinayak, wait, you're in IIT, right? Where are you?
No, I'm not in IT.
Huh. Where are you
Uh,
studying?
so I studied at. Okay, so we do have a question. Let's take up this question first. You can maybe. So the question is, how do you?
Shubhrat, you should go out and check an organization called Arvind Eye Care Hospital. Okay. So you go and click on a video called Infinite Vision. It's a 30-minute long video. I think it answers all your questions on self-sustainable NGOs and social entrepreneurship, bring change in a larger scale. There are some world-class organizations. You should also go out and check Khan Academy, a site called khanacademy.org. See the kind of work that they are doing, the kind of impact that they are doing, and you'll be amazed. Some people are doing just amazing work. You don't need a corporate structure for everything. There could be socially conscious business. At IIT Mandi, where I'm an advisor and where I'm sitting right now, okay, we have a whole theme called as environment and sustainability. Okay, so here we actually fund organizations, or where we actually give grant to organizations that are working on some real good social problems that they have undertaken to. For example, we have recently funded one company called as Kagzi Bottle. Okay, Kagzi Bottle, we gave them a grant of about 22 lakhs. It's a female entrepreneur, and she is developing bottles. Her whole plan is to replace plastic bottles with with something made out of paper mash and something. At a see, it's you can do it, but then it's going to cost you 5 times more. So there's not never going to work out. Right? So she's figured out a way of doing it economically better than plastic bottles. So she'll bring out paper-based bottles at a price which is as comparable as a plastic bottle, forcing large organizations to switch from plastic bottles to Kagzi bottles. That's the name of our company, Kagzi bottle. Okay, so
I would also put in the chat this company called Glovatrix, which is similar to that. Her co-founder Aishwarya Karnataki was on one of Advani's session, and so what it's doing is it's creating gloves using which people who who cannot speak, let's say they do some sign in their sign language, then a speaker can actually tell what they're trying to say.
That in sound, yeah, very nice, very nice. I saw that thing. Great.
So, sir, I studied at Bennett University, which is the one where
Ajay is there.
Yeah. So
I know.
I studied there, but
Shastri is a good friend of mine.
Yes, sir. He taught me in the first semester.
And now you're graduating from there, Bennett University.
So I got placed at Deloitte in third year. So our university had a thing where if you get placed in third year, you can work for entirety of fourth year. So I've been working at Deloitte for about 11 months now.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Any other question, guys? All right. Sir, you're right now in Mandi, Himachal?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know Kirtpur or Ropad, where you take right from? That's where I'm from. That's like my village.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Kiratpur, Ropad. Yeah, I stop on the way at a place called Heritage Haveli.
Yes, sir. I know. 20 minutes from there is my village and my home. So,
oh, okay.
That's true.
Oh, I thought Joshi means you're Maharashtrian Joshi or something.
Sir, everybody asked me that. I have no idea how my family ended up. We were actually in Pakistan and they ran away from there, but how we ended up there, I have no idea.
Achha, you come from Pakistan and you're a Joshi. Joshis are, could be Sharma's Joshis. Yeah. Uttarakhand, you have a lot of these Joshi guys. You know, there was a General B.C. Joshi, I think, was the chief of Indian Army.
Yes, sir. So even Murli Manohar Joshi was originally.
Murli Manohar Joshi. Yeah, but Joshi is very common in the Maharashtra. Yes.
So, sir, I had one more question. So, people often say that start a startup while you're young. Like people around me are telling me, my father is telling me, right now is the age you try something, you try and you fail quickly, and that is the right advice. But is it a correct advice if you want to build something sustainable? I mean, what if somebody wants to go on a path similar to what the Doglapan guy, I forgot his name, it's Ashnur Grover, did, right? He first did his MBA, he worked for a few years, then he started a startup. So, like, is there any...
Narayana Murthy, I think, started at the age of 39. Colonel Sanders, who started KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think, did it after his retirement from the army at the age of 62, 63. Dr. Venkatachalam, the story that I told you about Arvind Aikar, started a startup at the age of 59. So there's no real, age that you want to start. When you start early, good thing is you're less afraid. Okay, less afraid, more prone to take, but also more prone to take rash decisions also. So you need to kind of balance the young enthusiasm with the older maturity models. That is why the great combination works, right? I mean, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, 23 years of age, and then they bring in Eric Schmidt, who's 50 years of age, but has already been the CEO of Motorola. Okay, so That combination works excellently well. But of course, there is a give and take in this.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ananya, she said
Ananya is
young.
right. Founder with an experienced mentor is the best.
Sir, actually, even like at young, it's not like there is no risk. There is always that thought, how will it look in my resume? Like that I wasted a year because
See,
I feel.
I tell people today that everything, just crossing the road is also a risk today, right? I mean,
Uh,
at, at a traffic junction is a risk. I mean, what is not risky? Getting into a metro train in Delhi could be a risk, right? We all live in a risky world. We can't do that. Entrepreneurs is not as risky as it was. Believe me, as risky as it was 25 years back when I started. That time there was no support systems to start. Today we have these Kagzi bottles and all that. I mean, they're still young and we're giving them 20-25 lakhs of rupees as grant, not even equity. So we're not even taking 1% from her, and and we are putting in money. So a lot of safety nets available, and believe me, nothing will go wrong. Even if you lose 3 years of your life trying to do something, today people are talking something called as a failure resume. Okay, so as you grow up in your things, they're not going to ask you things about what you are successful about. Let's assume that you're being interviewed for the post of a CEO at the age of 35. I'm not going to ask you, okay, tell me what are the good things you did in life, because the good things brought you here. I want to know all those fuck ups, all those shit things that you did, that you're probably learned something from them. So why don't you talk about your failure resume? Okay, telling us the things that didn't work out for you. More importantly, what did you learn from those things?
okay, got it. Sir, actually, I see this fear in a lot of students my generation. In fact, myself also, where like right now I could work at Deloitte further on,
So
or
this,
I could.
so this program, this Think Startup is exactly for that. It is there for that, to motivate them to do something. So here we don't
Okay.
want to give you some gyan and just tell you to do something. Here we want to build your confidence level and say, yeah, I can do this. Here I too can do this about.
All right. So I guess we had somebody in the audience who has recently started their portal. I guess it was Ananya. Ananya, was it you, or was it Kshitija?
Ananya, I think she's launched some social media platform. I'd
Ananya, do you
love
want
to
to?
hear more about it.
Yes. Do you want to share about it? Do you want to come on audio and tell us what it's about? Kshitija did. All right. So Kshitija, can you share us what your platform is, what it's doing? Maybe you want to turn on your video and tell us about it. I think Ananya has left us. Kshitija, right. Subrat is typing. Was it Subrat? Was it you who shared it? Because you just told us that it was. Do you guys want to ask any questions to me? I know. I know I cannot answer a lot of questions about entrepreneurship, but any other question related to stand-up comedy, maybe, if because I feel like that is something which is extremely related to entrepreneurship. Because
Yeah, yeah. So you're based out of Delhi, is it, Vinay?
yes, sir, right now I'm based out of Delhi. Uh, I am in this small town called Greater Noida, outside of Delhi. I've been working from home mostly, and yeah, that is the difficult. Vinayak sir, showcase your humor. This is I don't know how to reply to this. Maybe I can tell you. So every time somebody asks me this, so in my Deloitte interview, I was asked this question: that you do stand-up comedy, tell us a joke. And so there was an HR and there was a senior director in the meeting. So I took a risk and I told the director, "Sir, I have a joke about HR." And the HR got on my back. HR was like, "What is it? What is it? What is it?" Then I told the HR, "I'll get right back to you." So
Very nice.
the director was laughing, the HR was not. So
Was not,
was not
but
laughing.
but because the HR guy didn't get the joke at all, right?
Maybe that's true. Yeah.
Good. So
It is
last
8:15.
session I think we have next week, which where we are going to talk about funding and various things. Like I said, Vinayak, one of the prime objectives of this think startup, we want you to think startups initially. That's the whole idea, is to be there. Don't do that. I mean, what we also want to do, you don't give you false hope and false, you know, promises that it's going to be all easy, it's going to be so easy, and anybody can do it kind of. So we'll have a balanced discussion with people who are thinking about it. The idea here is, okay, I mean, I've done this like a million times. I've spoken to an audience in about close to 11 countries now, thanks to the foundation. And not everyone, and people ask me this, "Yeah, how many of them actually became entrepreneurs?" I said it's the same thing like some you ask people who go to the church, how many of them actually went to heaven. I mean, there's no correlation, right? Just because you went to a church, listen to all the sermons, didn't mean that you would go to heaven. So there is no correlation. We have an evangelism job. We go out and talk about it day in, day out, uh, to people, random people who are willing to hear. For me, it's very important that a Shubhrat or an Ananya or a Kshitija or a Saurav, they did manage to, come for all the 8 sessions to date. That means these are people who are actually, I mean, they have gone beyond thinking. I think they have gone into an action mode. Okay. The very fact that these guys have come here for 8 sessions, and I'm sure they'll not miss the 9th session on funding. It basically we would have started with, I don't know, number was 50 or something, or I was so impressed and I said, wow, 50. But believe me, at the bottom of my heart, I knew that by the time we are done with the 7-8 sessions, the number would be in single digits. Why, you would say, is my sessions bad? No, I don't think so. My sessions are bad. In fact, my sessions, I'm very proud to say that I share much more just beyond the PPTs. So I know, but I know that this is what the strike rate is in a class of 100 people. Even if I talk whatever, only 10 people are at the end of the day going to start thinking about it. Actioning is different. I'm very happy that Ananya has gone beyond thinking and actioned it also, right? Which is where the next level of programs will benefit Ananya.
Yes, sir. Sir, I completely agree. The very fact that they do not have to be here and they still are here means they're actually interested, because people often see that there are hundreds of people in a college class, but maybe only 2 of them are listening. So
Absolutely.
it's
So
just
I
good
don't
to
get
have.
offended when I don't get offended when I see less people. In fact, the less I know, it's better, because these are the right people that I should be talking to, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And in fact, with less people, you can have a more interactive class, because there will be a conversation instead of a monologue. But yes, so that was it, sir. Maybe we can end today's session, or do you guys want to ask any other question? Maybe we have time for one more question. So, Sudhanshu, do you have a question?
No. So Kshitija and Subrat, we have uploaded the editable document basically for the elevator pitch. You can check it out on the take action section. If you have any doubt, you can reach out to any of the guides on the platform.
Shubhra is typing something. Shubhra is still typing. At this point, 7 people are looking at Shubhra typing and hoping there is some gold mine of a question which comes. Some a brilliant question, the likes of which could only be asked by Shekhar Gupta. Or so we have a mentor to mention in the pitch deck.
We have a mentor to mention.
Okay.
Sorry, I was speaking with my mind. Yeah, if you have a mentor, you should definitely put them. All I said is be careful about whom are you putting as mentor.
Yeah, maybe take their consent first is the point, right, sir?
Yeah.
All right. So maybe that's it for today then. We will continue tomorrow. So by tomorrow, I mean in the next class, which will be communicated to
So
you.
next session we have on 25th.
Okay.
Hoping to
Which
see
is
all of you there.
a week from now. It is going to be the last session, the
Next
session where
Tuesday,
we
correct.
end this journey. And it's so good to have you guys here. And let's be there in the next session. Let's interact a lot in the next session. And till the time, if you want to interact with each other, we have the portal, guys. Make sure you use the most of it, and you really build a network with each other. And yeah, it is an important way of connecting. So, sir, maybe to end this, I can ask you the last question. How important do you believe network is? I know this is a very vague question, but how
You're
can
asking
somebody
me?
build? Yes, sir. How can someone build their network? To
Oh, you guys have so many tools today, right? I mean, I come from an era where there were no tools. You had to actually write letters and make telephone calls to people, right? There's so many tools that are. My question is not about building networks. Today, you go to my LinkedIn, I don't know, more than 5,000 people followers. I don't know what does it even mean. Do I know? I don't know 98% of them. Maybe 2% I would know. Some of them I would guess were students in my class sometime and stuff like that. Okay, doesn't matter. Tools doesn't matter. What is important is, are you able to sustain that network over a longer period of time? Okay, sustain that network, create those conversations, create those connects, create those beautiful things. So it doesn't happen. I mean, you can't create a network of 1,000, 10,000 people. You can have 10,000 people following you for various reasons. You need to create those networks are smaller, very effective. The places where you can pick up a call and say, hey, look, I have this wonderful guy, Vinayak, okay, and he's looking out for something. I think, you should talk to him and stuff like that. The moment I'm able to do that, or I'm able to connect to someone for business, I think that's the power of network over here. Okay? So network is also about investing into a network. Huh? So you cannot be a part of a network and keep on, consuming stuff from the network. You need to also replenish stuff, right? So on whatever networks are there, I share articles, I share, sometimes I share stupid jokes also, just to kind of, shake people out of their complacencies and stuff like that. So I curate close to 7, 8 different networks and different interest groups, right? I have a network purely on karaoke singing, right? I mean, like completely different. It's 100 people. I know we have some crazy programs and stuff like that. Nothing to do with entrepreneurship. Then I have a network where we talk about investments in various kinds. Startup investment is just one of the instruments, right? Everybody wants to invest, everybody wants to grow their wealth and stuff like that. So we keep on doing that. So that's a different conversation. Then of course, then you have the school ka networks and college ka networks and working, Vadvani Foundation networks. Now I'm going to Bangalore next week. 9 or 10 people, and I'm going to Bangalore almost after 4 years, because the last time I went was just before the lockdown, and then now I'm going back. So about 10, 11 people, we are all agreed to meet on a Friday in a pub. We'll probably go pub crawling also. We don't know, and spend some time. Why is it important? Some of them have moved away. I myself have moved away from the foundation in the being from the full-time sense, right? So, but the network still continues.
all right. Yeah. So on the topic of network, guys, I guess you can actually build a network with people around you in the class here. In Shubrat, you can reach out to Shitija, you can reach out to Ananya, you can reach out to Saurav, and who knows, maybe you will be founders later on. And if not founders, at least friends who can help each other at some point. So thank you very much. And sir, next week, if you want to, okay, she's your sister. Oh, so you're already on a network with her. All right. So that said, thank you very much, sir. Next week in Bangalore, if you want to watch a stand-up show for anyone, let me know. I can arrange tickets for it maybe. And if you want to go to a pub, I would suggest go to Bob's Bar in Indranagar. So that is.
So generally, what I do now, I leave it to the Bangalore guys, because they are more tuned to what is happening latest.
Yes.
Okay, so I just kind of tag along and say, okay, let's go there.
All right. Anyways,
Guys, have a great
thank you very much.
ahead. Enjoy. Sudhanshu, great having you here. Vinayak, thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
How do you feel when people do not value something when they get it without monetary expense? Sir, do you have time for one more question? I know it's already
I'm reading it. So, what's this?
Subrata's.
How do you feel when people do not value something when they get it without the monetary expense? Can we do anything to make prospective users feel the value without charging them? Okay, so this is basically the free versus charged debate part of it, right? And yeah, I would feel very offended if if I if I find that people are not valuing what it they get in free. So you should that's exactly the reason, Shubhrot, I told you about two important case studies. You want to call them case studies if you want to go and find out about Arvind Eye Care Hospital, an Indian example, world-class institution, very simple business model. They say 1/3 of the people will pay 2/3 free. So 1/3 people who are like, somebody like me, let's assume that I don't want same treatment. It's not that I get a VIP room and the other guy gets a low-end room and I get a good doctor and he gets a bad doctor. No, everything else remains the same. But if I can pay, I should pay. And if you can't pay, you can't pay, right? It's a 1,200 crore business. It's not funny how they're able to do it. They do about 3 million cataract operations. 2/3 patients never pay because they can't pay. Okay, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, when he was just a scientist, wanted something done for himself. He said, "Sorry, I'm a scientist. I'd love to do it, but I can't pay. Sorry, let me do it free." Got the best treatment. Khan Academy, amazing. I mean, I don't know if you know about Khan Academy. I think it's an institution, not one. Why Khan Academy? For me, Wikipedia is such a brilliant, model. Okay, Wikipedia is such a brilliant model. I mean, what would the world be today if it was not Wikipedia, not Google? See, Google is a different middle model. You pay Google $10 million, your ad will come first, right? Simple. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, and you could be fiddling some, fake news or some clickbaits on that. Doesn't matter for Google. It's a different model. Wikipedia has been completely free, completely honest, volunteer-driven stuff. Like Khan Academy, exactly the same thing, right? How would Khan feel if people don't appreciate it? Of course, he'll feel bad. But at that time, he has evolved to a level where there are millions and millions of people who are grateful in their whole life for something called Khan Academy, right? And that person probably deserves a Nobel Prize in peace if it was up to me to give it to him. The Indian government has given him Padma Shri, so we should be thankful to the government at least that we have recognized Khan Academy and Sal Khan's contribution to it.
Yeah, ironically, his name is Salman Khan. So
Yeah,
Salman Khan winning Nobel Prize for Peace would be funny. But
well, that's the irony of.
Yes, sir. I've used Khan Academy myself, and it's absolutely amazing. Shubhra, do you have anything else to ask? You're typing.
Yeah, I have exactly 1 minute to jump out of this call.
All right. So he said thank you for the session, and thank you, sir. And see you guys next week. Let's hope to have an amazing last session. And thank you. Goodbye. See you soon.